Hello, everybody. I'm about to show you a chess game that's not just another attacking masterpiece with a brilliant sacrifice. This is the kind of game that makes you feel like it's Kasparov's world and we're just living in it. Because imagine sacrificing not one, but both your rooks and then dragging your opponent's king across the board like it's on a leash, all the while staying in total control. The game review, a performance rating of 3000 with a middle game accuracy labeled as brilliant. This is Kasparov versus Topalov 1999, also known as Kasparov's Immortal. And once you see it, you'll understand why. So, well, it starts with e4, and black responds with e6, d4, and knight f6. Now, here he's playing the work defense main line. The reason Topalov is playing this line is because Garry Kasparov hadn't really faced this opening in a lot of his classical games. So, it gave him a choice and flexibility to see what Garry Kasparov would respond to it. And he responds with basic knight c3, and then Topalov shadows his bishop, and he continues with the basic bishop development. Now here they are all just book moves. Now here's the first move that's not a book move, and here's why. Because he played knight e2. Now here the engine is saying that he should have played a3 just to stop the pushing of pawn to b4. Because if he does that, then white would have to move his knight. Now here Kasparov forces a trade of dark squared bishop, and black accepts it. Now the early queen at 6 allows white to stop the castling. So he starts to develop queen side. Now he finally stops the b4 push. Now here he makes a slight inaccuracy, but we can kind of understand why. The black is trying to open up the center over here, and Kasparov ignores the threat and just castles. And now here, black is just making space for his king to castle. Garry Kasparov plays his king b1, which is quite a common move, so that in future, if the queen ever gets on the a2 to g8 diagonal, it will stop the entry. Here, Kasparov is relocating his knight on e2 because it's not really doing much over there. Black finally castles, and as you can see, Kasparov is a bit better in this position. He finally gets his knight relocated and sits beautifully on b3. Okay, finally the trade of pawns happens in the center with the rook. Here he's just getting a tempo and pushing the rook back. Now the same thing, relocation of knight. Here he's probably getting ready to put the bishop on either g2 or h3 diagonal. But however, the engine says that he should have instead improved the position of his queen. Now over here, this engine says is not the right idea and it balances the position. Now here the bishop is sitting on bishop h3 as we saw earlier. Now they are finally opening the center. Now here the rook comes into play and all the pieces over here are sitting at decent places. Now he blocks the opening and pushes the knight. Now the knight trade happens and finally it's a discover attack on the black queen. Now here black plays queen d6 and there white threatens to play a stunning move, that is he ignores the threat on the, white, and basically as you can see now it's kind of opening the black king. As you can see he's really vulnerable, so we can understand why the rook sacrifice is really good over here. And here comes the blunder. Black does not realize what's happening, and before he can do anything, white sacrifices the rook. Now you might be wondering why he sacrificed the rook, because let's see, if black takes the rook, what happens? Now as you can see it's a blunder. Now white will take the pawn. The king has to go back. There's no other move. Then white continues the assault. And here the only move would be to save with bishop b7 because the square is guarded by the white bishop. Now here comes a family four followed by checkmate. So Kasparov saw everything and he decided to give the sacrifice. And Topalov also saw this and goes king b6. Now here comes the check. As you can see, the king's really cornered into the A file, but however, it's not really getting mated right now. The assault continues. Like I said, the black king is going to walk all over the board. Now here comes the second brilliant move. White ignores the fact that his rook is hanging and gives a checkmate threat. There, Black basically takes the pawn and stops it. And here comes another good move. Now, as you can see, White is threatening checkmate on the a6 pawn. So Black basically defends it. And here, Kasparov sacrifices his rook because if the queen takes, White can just go queen b3 and mate. So Black ignores and continues to try and exchange the queen so that the b3 threat goes away. And White just takes the free knight. Now here, I don't know why, but Black makes a blunder where I'm pretty sure Rook D1 would have been a logical move, but we don't know what was going on in his mind. And there Kasparov takes the a6 pawn. Hence there's only one forced move, King B4. And here comes a F3 check, followed by Queen A1 check. As you can see, the king has gone from all the way from the B8 square to D2. Here comes King D1. At this point of the game, anybody is just going to look for a rook move or a queen move and probably for a check. But Kasparov, he was different because he spotted this beautiful move that nobody could think of. Bishop F1. Another brilliant move. Because if the queen takes it, you're just going to lose a queen. And if you don't, well, let's look. He plays RD2, ignoring it. And White responds with another brilliant move. At this point, if you take the rook, you lose a queen. And if you don't take the rook, you lose a rook. And basically the game. So he has no choice and has to lose his queen. Now at this point of the game, Black is just losing. And the only hope Black has is to promote the C pawn. And so that's what he's going to try to do. And let's see how Kasparov stops the last final attempt. White comes with a queen a4, stopping any ideas, any hope that Black has. And basically in a few games, Black just resigns because he really has nothing more to do. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and dropping a like, and comment how you felt watching this game. Thank you very much.